Well, my prom story, as it relates to this event, was in 1957 when my now wife, Elaine, invited me to her high school prom in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the prom party was at a country club just outside of Minneapolis that had no Jewish members. And my wife and I, are both Jewish. And the reason it had no Jewish members, it prohibited Jewish members. It also happened to prohibit Catholics and African Americans, or in those days called Negroes. And so we were a little concerned about going to this event. And there were a number of students in her class, maybe 5% were Jewish, and they all had the same concerns. But we did go and actually enjoyed the event. Growing up as a kid, there was very little discrimination except based on religion and race. Now it's gone to other things such as sexual orientation. I don't know that it was any different then than it is now, but I think now people have more intense feelings about it, mostly those who are discriminating. There isn't any way that you can discuss it. It's almost like this is the way it is because God has ordained it or whatever. Whereas back in the 50s, I think it was something that people were a little embarrassed to be prejudiced. I think a little of what we learned back then that applies here is that sometimes you can be subtle and try and work out these differences. Other times, like the marches in the 50s and 60s, and some of the things that are going on now, you can't be subtle. Some of these people you have to bring it to a head, and maybe this issue in Mississippi with the prom is an example of it. How do you try and make that work out by sitting down and talking? It obviously didn't work.
Right.
So sometimes you have to stand up, and if you have to go to court, you have to go to court and stand up for what you think is right.